If you're tired of being the strong one, I get it. When everyone expects you to have it together, carry the weight, and show up no matter what, it can get heavy. This space is for you to finally put it down. Today's journaling session is a gentle invitation to reflect, release, and choose you. You don't have to write pages. You don't have to get it perfect. Just be honest. So grab your journal, find a quiet space, and let's write through this together. Who am I without the pressure to perform? I've been thinking about this question lately because for so long I didn't even know. Somewhere along the way, I started tying my worth to how much I could do, how much I could give, how many roles I could juggle at once. Being dependable, being the strong one, being the one who always shows up no matter what. And I wore it like a badge of honor until I realized it was also wearing me out. It's so easy to get caught up in being enough for everyone else that we forget to ask, am I enough for me? Not because I checked everything off the list, not because I was productive, but because I simply exist, because I'm human, because I matter. Not for what I do, but for who I am. The pressure to perform will have you smiling when you're exhausted, showing up when your body and spirit are begging for rest, saying, I'm fine, when you're anything but fine. And the world will praise you for it. They'll call you strong, selfless, amazing. But being praised for how well you perform in your pain is not the same as being seen. And it's definitely not the same as being whole. That's what my guided journal Love Letters to Myself is all about. I created this journal because I needed a space to lay it all down. The expectations, the roles, the weight of always being on. A space to explore who I am outside of what I do for others. A space where I could just be without performing, proving, or pretending. So if that question hits home for you, who am I without the pressure to perform? I invite you to write with me. The truth is, you don't have to earn your rest. You don't have to justify your softness. You don't have to prove your worth by carrying the world on your shoulders. Your worth is already there, rooted in your existence, in your heart, in your presence, not in your productivity. If you don't have the journal yet, you can grab a copy of Love Letters to Myself on Amazon or at simplychicbyfrida.com. I've also included the link in the description below. It's a guided journal full of affirmations and prompts that help you reconnect with yourself, with your truth, your voice, your enoughness. And if you already have it, open it up to today's prompt and be honest with yourself. Let the words come without editing. Let the truth rise without judgment. You are more than what you do. You've always been more. And maybe that's the real invitation, not just to pause, not just to write, but to remember. To remember that you are more than your roles, your productivity, your performance. You've been enough this whole time, even if no one said it out loud. So before you go, let me leave you with this. What would change if you believed you were already enough before the doing, beyond the proving, without the pressure to perform? Let that question sit with you. Let it stir something soft and true. And if this message resonated with you, subscribe so you don't miss the next journaling session. Grab your copy of Love Letters to Myself. And drop a comment if today's prompt opened something for you to remember. You are already enough. I'll see you in the next one. I'm sitting in my car right now because this is the first moment I've had all day to check in with myself. Maybe you've been there too. Lately, I've been sitting with this question. When did I start believing I had to earn love. I can't name the exact moment, but somewhere along the way, I started to believe love had to be earned by performing, by being helpful, by being strong, by being everything for everyone else. And when your worth is tied to how much you do for others, it's easy to lose sight of who you are when you're not doing. Maybe you felt that too. Always the dependable one, the strong one, the one who keeps it all together. You spent so long trying to be enough for everybody else, holding the peace, holding it down, holding back what you need. But here's the truth. I had to learn the hard way. Being the strong one doesn't mean you don't need support. It just means you've gotten used to surviving without it. And that kind of survival, it wears on you. You wake up tired, not just in your body, but in your soul. You're still showing up, still doing it all, but inside something feels missing, heavy, disconnected. If you've ever asked yourself, when do I get to exhale and breathe? Or when do I get to just be without performing, fixing, or proving? I want you to know you're not the only one asking those questions. And you were never meant to hustle for love, not through perfection, not through productivity, not through sacrifice. You are already worthy, not because of what you do, not because of how much you carry, but simply because of who you are. You deserve love on your worst days. You deserve kindness when you're feeling empty. You deserve to be gentle with yourself. And that includes love from you to you. That's exactly why I created Love Letters to Myself. It's my guided journal that's filled with affirming affirmations and prompts to help you reconnect with your voice, your worth, and your truth. Not because I have it figured out, not in the least, but because I needed a space to speak life back into the parts of me that I had silenced and I thought others did too. This journal isn't about fixing yourself, it's about coming back to yourself, letting go of guilt, unlearning those unhelpful patterns that we've learned through the years, and offering yourself the same grace that you give so freely to others. If this message speaks to you, I invite you to write with me today. Today's journal prompt is simple but powerful. When did I start believing I had to earn love? Take your time, let it stir something, let it soften something. If resistance shows up, it's okay, that happens. That voice saying that you don't have time for this or you should be doing something more productive, that's not your truth. It's just old thought patterns and programming. This moment, this is your permission to slow down and to listen to you. Even a few minutes of journaling can shift something, not because life magically gets easier, because it doesn't, but because you can get and allow yourself that time to take up space in the middle of it, in the middle of all the busyness. You're allowed to pause, you're allowed to check in, you're allowed to matter to you. If you don't have a journal yet, you can grab a copy on Amazon or at simplychicbyfrida.com. If you already have it, open it up and just know that your story is waiting for you to write. You're not behind, you're not too much, and you don't have to prove anything to be worthy of love. If this spoke to your heart, do me a favor and subscribe so you don't miss the next journaling session. Drop a comment and let me know what this stirred in you. And if you are ready to start your own love letter, grab your journal and begin today. You're not in this alone. This is your space to reflect, to rest, and to remember who we were before we started doubting that we were already enough. I'll see you in the next one. Have you ever looked up and realized you've been showing up for everybody, but somehow stopped showing up for yourself? You're handling everything, managing the schedule, taking care of everybody's needs, making sure things don't fall apart. But at some point, you stop checking in with how you're doing. That's what happened to me. And it didn't happen all at once. It was subtle. I told myself I was just tired, that I just needed to get through the week, that I'd rest when everything else was done. But the truth is, everything else is never done. And somewhere in the middle of all that, I had started disappearing in my own life. I wasn't showing up for me. Maybe you felt that too. Maybe you've gotten so used to being in go mode, you didn't even notice you were running on empty. You're doing what needs to be done, showing up like you always do, but inside, you feel off. You feel disconnected. Not sad necessarily, just not all the way present, not all the way you. And that's what we're journaling through today. And this reflection isn't about blaming yourself or fixing anything overnight. It's about being honest. Honest enough to admit that even strong women need time to check in with themselves. Here's the question I want you to sit with. In what ways have I stopped showing up for myself? Let that question sit with you for a moment. Think about the ways you've pushed your own needs to the side, the times you've ignored your body, held in your emotions, smiled when you really wanted to cry, said, "I'm fine," when you really weren't. It doesn't mean you're weak. It means you've been in survival mode and you've been doing the best you can. But what if there's more for you than just pushing through? I had to face that too. I was showing up for my family, for work, for everybody else, but I was skipping myself. I wasn't asking what I needed. I wasn't being kind to myself. And if I'm honest, I didn't feel like I had the time to slow down. But I've learned this. Nobody's going to give us time or permission to rest, reflect, to heal. We have to give that to ourselves. So I want to invite you to do that today. When this video ends, take 5 minutes or whatever you have and write it out. In what ways have I stopped showing up for myself? Be real. Don't censor it. This is for you. And if you're looking for a journal to help guide you through this kind of reflection, that's exactly why I created Love Letters to Myself. It's full of thoughtful prompts and affirmations, prompts that can help you slow down and check in with yourself. There's space to be honest, to process what you're carrying, and to pour into the one person you probably overlook the most, you. It's not about having the perfect journaling practice. It's about making time for your voice, your needs, and your healing. You can grab a copy at Simply Chic by Frida or in the link below. If this video felt like something you needed to hear today, I hope you'll subscribe. I've got more journal prompts and reflections coming, and I want this to be a space where we can remind each other that we matter. You don't have to earn rest. You don't have to disappear in your own life to prove your strength. You're allowed to care for you, and that's important. And if you feel led to, leave a comment and tell me what's one small way you're going to show up for yourself this week. Take care of you. You're worth it. See you in the next video. I used to be really good at holding it in, holding it together, holding everybody else up, even when I was breaking inside. I smiled through the chaos, stay quiet through the overwhelm. I told myself that's what strong women did, and maybe you've done that too. You keep going, you show up, you get it done even when you're tired, even when you're hurting. You've convinced yourself that your needs can wait because other people are counting on you. I get it. That's where I lived for a long time, in the waiting for a break, waiting for someone to notice, waiting for a moment when I could finally exhale, waiting for a space to slow down and fall apart just a little. But people don't give you that space if you don't require them to. And I didn't realize how much I was carrying until I started feeling off. It wasn't just stress, it was something deeper. I'd be snappy for no reason, exhausted even after a full night's sleep. I couldn't focus. I felt disconnected from everything, including myself. I didn't feel like me. It was like I was functioning, but not living. Instead, I was just managing it all on autopilot. And honestly, I didn't want to admit that. I thought that if I did, everything would fall apart. So I held it in. I told myself I didn't have time to feel it, that I needed to push through, that being strong meant staying silent. I didn't want to be a burden. I didn't want to make loved ones uncomfortable. And I was scared of what might come out if I actually said how I really felt. But silence isn't strength, it's a twisted type of self protection. And eventually, the consequences of your silence start to show up in your mood, your energy, your relationships in ways you can't ignore. It shows up in your body, it shows up in the way you say, I'm fine, when you clearly are not, and in the way you stop saying anything at all. It weighs on how you show up, and in time, it chips away at how you see yourself. That's when I knew I couldn't keep doing it that way. I didn't need a full life reset. I just needed a safe place to reflect on and tell my truth. Somewhere to put the thoughts I sometimes didn't feel ready to say out loud yet. And somewhere I could be intentional about asking myself, how am I really doing? And actually sit with that answer. That's how Love Letters to Myself was born, not from a place of strength, but from a moment of complete honesty. I needed a space that didn't expect me to be strong or polished or okay. I just needed to be real. So I started writing. Not perfectly, not every day. It helped me to remember that my feelings were valid and that I deserved care too. The more I wrote, the more I realized how much I'd been holding back and how good it felt to finally let it out. This journal isn't about having the right words. It's not about fixing everything. It's about showing up for you, giving yourself space to be honest, to process, to breathe. You don't have to hold it in anymore. You don't have to figure it all out on your own either. Start with one page. Start with being honest. That's where our healing begins. So it's so powerful to write it out. If this resonated with you, I hope you'll grab a copy of Love Letters to Myself. I've included the link in my bio and the description. Be sure to check it out. If you're ready to slow down, reflect, and reconnect with yourself, I also hope you'll subscribe and come back for more journal sessions. Be sure to hit that notification so you don't miss anything. And if this spoke to you, I'd love to know. Drop a comment and share what's been on your heart. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care. Let's talk about what it feels like to keep showing up when you're barely holding it together. Because I've done that more times than I can count. Smiling on the outside, checking all the boxes, doing what needed to be done, while quietly breaking down on the inside. And the wild part is, people around me had no idea. I was still showing up, still dependable, still functioning, but I was running on fumes. Not because I wanted to be strong all the time, but because I felt like there was no space to not be. Like if I stopped, everything would fall apart. So I just kept pushing through. One more day, one more task, one more deep breath and fake smile. And over time, that became my norm. But that kind of normal comes at a cost. You start to lose touch with yourself. You stop checking in. You stop asking what you need because the only goal becomes surviving the day. And if I'm honest, There were moments when I couldn't even tell what I was feeling anymore. I had pushed my feelings down for so long, it all just felt heavy or numb. Maybe you know exactly what I'm talking about. Maybe you've been carrying things silently: stress, responsibility, fear, pressure, disappointment, and still showing up like everything's fine. And maybe, like me, you've reached a point where you're tired of pretending, you're tired of being the one who holds it all, but never has a place to set it down. And that's what we're going to journal through today. Not from a place of trying to fix it all, but just to name it. Because sometimes the first step is just telling the truth. Here's your prompt. What have I been carrying that I haven't acknowledged? What's been weighing on you that you haven't given yourself the time or space to fully admit? What emotions have you brushed aside because you had other things to do? Your reflections don't have to be neat. You don't need perfect answers. You just need a page and a moment to be honest with yourself. I remember the first time I asked myself this question, I was sitting alone, completely drained, and I started writing. At first, it was surface level stuff. I'm tired, I'm overwhelmed. But the more I kept going, the more came up: guilt, resentment, unprocessed grief, the kind of things I thought I had already dealt with, but not really. I had just pushed them aside because I didn't have time to deal with them. That moment of journaling didn't solve everything, but it gave me clarity. It gave me a chance to release some of the heaviness I was carrying. And most of all, it reminded me that my feelings were valid, that I was allowed to slow down and feel them. That's why I created Love Letters to Myself. It's not just a guided journal, it's a place to reconnect with the version of you that you've been putting on hold. The version that's still worthy even when she's tired, even when she's overwhelmed, even when she's not feeling okay. The prompts inside are gentle but honest. They help you process what you've been carrying and remind you that your voice deserves space too. If that sounds like what you need, you can find Love Letters to Myself in the description or the comments, or you can head to my bio and grab your copy today. And if this video spoke to something you've been holding in, I hope you'll subscribe and hit that notification bell. I'm sharing more prompts, more reflections, and more moments like this where you don't have to be anything but real. And before you go, I want to invite you to share. What's something you've been carrying that you're finally ready to name? Drop it in the comments. No guilt, no pressure, just honesty. Take care of you because you're worth it. See you in the next video. Sometimes we carry things for so long that we don't even realize the weight until we start to unpack it. I hope these prompts gave you the space to be gentle with yourself, to see your own needs, to show up for you. If this spoke to you, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and tap that notification bell so you never miss a journaling session. Come back anytime you need a moment to breathe, reflect, or just feel seen. And if you're ready for more, my guided journals may be just what you need. Created for women who do so much and deserve time and space for themselves. If something stirred in you today, don't rush past it. Journal on it. Sit with it. That's how we start our healing. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.